is one word. And then I also read The Pale White by Chad Lutzke. Has anybody read that?
No,
I'm very hesitant to read more Chad Lutzke. I don't know why.
Skullface Boy is perfect. It ends perfect just at the right time and gives you enough to know that it's.
Yeah, that's an excellent book. Yeah, that's an excellent book. So, Zach, you say you don't like it?
I've only read Starting the Sheet, so I probably need to read Skullface Boy or something. But he just seems like an author who's taking these very kind of like sappy, sentimental things and just writing like completely for those things. And like all these people that are into coming of age and everything just kind of gush over it. And seeing all the freaking posh reviewers just saying, "Oh my God, this book ripped my heart out," and it's all these.
It does, though. It does. Zach, do you not like books? I don't understand.
Zach, I think he doesn't like humanity. He read that. He read that. What is it called? Conspiracy Against the Human Race, and he was like, "That reflects my worldview."
I feel like he's taken just all these freaking sentimental, sappy things. Like it's emotion manipulation.
Well, that's all that art is, right? I mean, as far as storytelling goes,
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
you're right.
I mean, if it's obvious, you're saying it's just obvious, right? He's cheating, he's doing the easy grabs.
I know if I kill.
No, he does it with skill, though. That's the thing.
I mean, that's what he's saying. I'm not saying I agree with you. I think he's skillful in what he's doing.
I think that maybe he's so that he won't be satisfied.
I think that Ben is just cynical.
Me?
Not Ben. I'm sorry, Zach. Ben, you're
I was gonna say.
but Zach is
well,
too.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna say this is like so. What you're saying is basically he's writing porn, except he's trying to make you cry instead of come.
Exactly. That's perfect, Ben. Thank you. I'm going to freaking pay you $10 for that.
Apparently,
I expect it in my PayPal by tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, you'll get it. Ben apparently described exactly my problem with Chad Lutzke. Now, I don't mind sentimentality. I freaking love.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's genuinely sentimental, though, right? I mean,
there's nothing. What's wrong with sentimental?
I don't mind sentimental. I'm saying. It's basically what Ben said. It's just kind of porn, but for coming of age and crying. It's not.
It's not porn.
It's so small. Like he writes these really tiny books, and you go through these emotional motions, and it's just
emotional emotions.
No, emotional motions is what he said.
Yeah.
I think you're so picky, man, that you'll just never be satisfied. It's like
I've been satisfied multiple times.
I don't know, man. I can't recommend books to you because you get so like specific that I don't even know what you're talking about sometimes.
Maybe it's just to have better tasting. I mean, I've cried.
Hey, shots fired.
I think that's what he's trying to say. I mean, these guys do read some highfalutin stuff.
I'm trying to.
But they do actually read it, though. It's unlike a lot of people who just buy it and put it on their shelves and make it. And when people come over, they're impressed, right? I think these guys actually genuinely do read it.
Oh,
right?
That's true.
Yeah, Strange wanted to see some of the shelves for some reason.
Yeah, you sent me some pictures of like you were so zoomed up on the actual shelf of the, you're showing me books in line next to each other, but you were so zoomed in that I couldn't even see the top and the bottom of the individual shelves. Dude, I was like, bro, step back, let me see the bookshelf. I want to see this bookshelf from top to bottom. You're like, my camera doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
I don't know what that even means, Jeremy. You can take a picture.
He doesn't have a smartphone.
No,
I don't need a smartphone to take a picture from across the room.
You can't see what they are if I do that. You can't even see what the books are if I do that.
I don't know. It doesn't.
But Pale White's pretty good. Anyhow.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that I'm reading. I mentioned earlier that I'm reading Mike Klein's Lonely Men Club, which is about a time traveling Zodiac killer.
That is a horrible picture.
See what I mean? It's like, what are you showing me? It's like a fat girl taking a picture of just her face and her mouth, like not even her chin, because she's got a double chin.
I don't need to share that story. No.
What'd you say?
Never mind.
No, I want to hear it now.
No. Gregory,
it is a bad picture.
it's not a story I need to share.
And all I said, look at this picture, and I was like, back up, let me see the shelf. He's like, my camera doesn't work like that. What do you mean? Back up.
I'm guessing because
you won't be able to see if I back up all the way. You won't be able to.
I don't know what that means.
he's trying to say that his camera is a potato, so if he goes back anymore, you're not going to be able to see what's actually on the shelf.
Yes.
Now I've noticed something. This is like the name Jeremy Pick on Zach show. He's saying like,
I mean, I don't know where you're coming from with all this stuff, man. It's like
I think you're taking what I say and blowing it out of proportion. Like,
I mean,
kids, do not fight, or I'll turn the car around.
Well, it's like saying that I don't like Chad Lutzke.
Now you're picking.
I don't like.
I don't understand, man. I mean, it's like I don't know if I could recommend things to you because it's like you.
I've read your recommendations before.
You scrutinize things in a weird way that I don't understand. I don't understand.
Give me
it's called having different personalities.
So Zach, are you rethinking the idea of having Jeremy move in with you and your future girlfriend, and when you guys get a place?
Wait, what?
Are you rethinking?
That was a freaking joke that you said. that was a joke that you came up with.
Shelves. There's my shelves. You happy?
Jeremy, would you move in with Zach?
These are cool pictures, but this is like a fat girl taking a picture of her face. I don't
get a camera that isn't. Get a camera that isn't a potato.
I don't use smartphones. Hey, so
you don't need a smartphone. Just get a camera that actually works.
I agree. Or fuck Eraserhead, but
fuck Eraserhead.
You guys have seen that this one's kind of making waves, right? Anyway, even though fuck Eraserhead, it's still kind of making waves. Don't fuck with the coloreds by Andre.
Yeah, that was
a cool dude.
Huh?
Yeah, I really
check that out.
You're going to get us kicked off YouTube.
I know that this is definitely going to be adults only after I upload it. So.
But I read Don't Bleep with the Coloreds in the Orange Starter Kit, and I really like that a lot.
How did they come up with that cover?
I don't know.
That's kind of edgy, like they used to be, but they'll never get it back with their attitude. But that's almost the way they used to be. Yeah,
I mean that is from Deadite.
Andre Duza. I mean, he's the original Deadite author. He hasn't changed. They've changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
still, about clowns. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was Technicolor Terrorist. That was really good.
That was insane, man.
Yeah, didn't Thomas Monteleone write a name blurb for that one?
I don't know. I'd have to check. But
Zach,
Duza is really good.
Zach, I'm sorry, man.
I know. I don't care.
I guess we just don't see eye to eye on books, man. I don't know, but I mean,
you saying you don't even know how to read right, Zach?
No.
This coming back at you.
This is the highlight of my week. Trust me, every week it's the highlight of my week. I look forward to talking to you guys for hours like this. But I don't know how Zach dissects things and comes to these conclusions. I don't know if he's using some like philosophical method or what, but I don't understand where it comes from. Like,
you mean not liking Chad Lutzke?
Well, yeah, man. I feel like it's picking a little bit because it's like it's not that you don't have to like Chad Lutzke, but I feel like it's a little bit over scrutinizing to say that he manipulates emotions, like that's a bad thing. Like an author is supposed to tug at your heartstrings a little bit and make you.
No, but you don't do it in like it's got to be in an organic way. If you're telling an organic story,
he's claiming that it's crude, that he's cheating, right? That he's using cheap tricks to manipulate your emotions. That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
I just don't agree with that, right? I don't agree with the assessment.
Skullface Boy let things happen. Skullface Boy was organic. I'm telling you, the guy's got some good chops. I mean,
have you read any Andre Duza, Zach?
No, I've been aware of him for a while.
Yeah, I definitely recommend Technicolor Terrorist or Don't Bleep with the Coloreds. Those are both really good.
How can we make this right, brother?
I'm not mad.
I know you're gonna.
You're probably gonna. You're probably actually going to make him mad if you basically keep asking him if he's mad.
I think this is how you make it right. You guys do a buddy read of Gravity's Rainbow.
I'm trying to.
Good idea.
Because he is a valued member of this show and a friend, you know. And I don't want him to come away thinking like, you know, feeling like he was like drained of all enjoyment or something. You know what I mean?
I don't.
Zach, read Church Mouse.
That'll make things right. Yes.
Yeah.
Like about the spoiler thing. When I said that the Roaches Have No King has a scene with roach rape, that's not a spoiler. That's saying what the book contains, like a hint of things to come. So I'm trying to figure out which one.
Glad you pulled that as an example. That's a good one.
Well, I mean, it's a roach on woman rape. It was like very creative, but
well, yeah, I don't think I said that was a spoiler.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what I said were spoilers to you.
The only things that count as spoilers in my mind are literal spoilers. Like, say, there's an important event that happens that you don't know it's going to happen, and it changes the course of the story.
Talking about a character's girlfriend being murdered, literally describing the ending of a book.
Zach.
Clearly spoilers.
No,
Zach.
You're about to tell me it ain't spoiler. What is it?
You can't go that
far. No, Norman Bates was his mother.
Shut up.
You like Cash tapped out, man. I don't know how to wrap this up. I'm having a good time, but I know that some people have to get back to their normal lives soon.
I'm about to take you guys into my bedroom. I need to lay down.
I don't have a normal life.
I'm exhausted. We're going to the bedroom.
What did you say, Gregor?
I don't have a normal life.
None of us do. We're here.
I wonder about you, Gregor. I wonder what your normal life is like. I've never even seen a picture of you. I don't even know what you look like.
Yeah.
I look like just a really handsome guy.
Nobody knows anything about Gregor Zane. He's the wind.
Do you have long hair?
No, I used to though. No, I don't wear glasses.
I think all of us has probably had long hair at some point.
You got a 6-pack?
How big's your dick?
No.
Yeah.
I got a keg.
He what?
I got a keg.
Circumcised or uncircumcised?
Attaboy.
Bill Gates loves you for that.
Who the fuck asked Bill Gates for anything? That fucking...
I like Gregor's comment earlier that everybody like universally saw him as a scumbag until 5 minutes ago, where suddenly he's this philanthropist and hero.
Right. Yeah, I just don't get it. I mean, and obviously the guy's a creep. I mean, have you seen these clips where like people are saying the economy is going to be, destroyed for the next 10 years, and he's just cracking up, like he can't even like stop himself from giggling. Have you seen that?
He made friends with Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein's first arrest.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, dude, we got something in common. I'm gonna go check that guy out."
Did you guys know Cuomo was caught faking the whole down in the basement, sick with the
coronavirus? Yeah, I saw that.
Fucking fake, and he even said he sees no value in his work, in what he does. He said that while he was locked away in his fake basement therapy.
I don't think he ever even had it.
No, I don't think he ever even fucking had it.
No, I don't think so.
Fucking
Philip Lopresti has just been going off on Chris Como on Facebook.
Attaboy, Phil.
Has he?
Philip probably doesn't like me anymore, but still.
He's been going on.
We should try to bring him on.
You think he would?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't have social media. Now, Phil, I do have an old episode where Philip came on, and when he was with Dynatalks full time, I guess. But
his voice was a lot deeper than I thought it would be.
Wait, who is he going off on?
Chris Cuomo. He's the governor of New York, and Phil lives in New York.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Cuomo is not the governor; he's a CNN dude.
After I had that whole thing on Facebook, he commented on one thing, but he never dropped me. So I think a lot of them probably dropped me, but he didn't. Still, actually likes my posts every now and then. So he's cool.
Yeah, Philip Lopresti is definitely not like one of those politically correct types.
Okay. Chris Cuomo and CNN stage a fake coronavirus resurrection.
Okay, yeah, I got Cuomo confused with someone else. So my bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, Andrew Cuomo,
the governor of New York is.
Brother is the governor.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I got confused with. He's going off on the governor, not on Chris Cuomo.
This is the Fredo, though, not the governor. Yeah, they call him Fredo. Yeah, he likes that.
Yeah.
Andrew Cuomo is called Bada Bing.
I mean, I don't think the guy even had it because, I mean, if he did have it, and what is he doing running around with his kids and his wife and endangering them, right? You know what I mean? So I don't think he even had it.
Got to get them clicks.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just a big reality show thing. Yeah, that guy's a scumbag, and that Brian Stelter guy is the
guy with no neck. Fucking no.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah. That guy is a goblin.
Yeah, all of them suck. They're all terrible. Pizzagate is real. Literally everybody in Hollywood, Wall Street, Washington D.C., and the Vatican are all rapists and pedophiles.
You know what, Ben? You're talking sense finally.
I'm only maybe half kidding.
Yeah, I mean, those the people that are on that particular network, like the major heavy hitters, are just really such terrible humans. I mean, that Don Lemon guy is just a disgusting person.
It's just like I'm too brave. I'm basically, what's the name of it? What were the name of the guys that broke Watergate? Woodward and Bernstein. Yeah. I'm Woodward and Bernstein. Look at me. No, you're not. You're a faggot.
Did you hear about how he was like, getting his Fermunda cheese and sticking it in some dude's face at a bar? Have you heard that story?
It wouldn't surprise me. I wasn't surprised if he's mean to waiters and doesn't tip.
Yeah, like he was trying to get he was harassing some dude at a bar that was a bartender, putting his Fermunda cheese stink under the dude's nose, saying, "You like this, or you like," he was trying to determine which way he swung, right?
What?
Yeah,
I'm not exactly in the gay community, but I'm pretty sure that's not like a normal way for them to flirt.
What do you mean? Hold on a second. Take a step back. You're not exactly in the gay community. What's that mean?
Let's not go into that at this point.
Okay, all right.
Ben just came out on the show.
Yeah, he did. That's pretty cool.
It's all right.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Your dick, bro. I'll suck your dick.
Yeah, because Kevin lied about. He was like, "Oh, I'm on the God side. I was on the God side of the."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, I got my dick pierced."
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Didn't think that freaking story would end with you like just saying, "Yep, I actually walked away from there with freaking like 12 dick piercings." We're like hopping.
So what?
No, you came away being just like them.
Started the story. They had these fucking weirdos on the other side of the store, and then I went and got my dick pierced just like.
Well, no matter how much metal you put in your dick, at least you're not Chris Cuomo.
Yeah, he's like,
I'll never be as gay as
God side. Everything he told after that was on the other side. Like, I only hung out on the God side. Then everything else he said on that story was the other side, right?
Whatever. You could suck off everyone in the state of every male over the age of 18 in the state of New York, and you still wouldn't be as gay as Chris Cuomo.
That's true.
Yeah, that guy is a scumbag.
I was saying smiley face killer.
He's a smiley face killer.
Nah, the targets of the smiley face killer are too old for him.
Oh yeah, maybe so. But you should call up William and tell him about that, Zach.
I think I will.
You should. You should.
Oh.
Yeah, William. He was tired of you on that show.
We actually kept talking for a little bit after it.
Yeah, he did, but he kept on. You could tell him, like, it was obviously it was audio only, but you could tell he kept on looking at his watch.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't really get that.
I didn't get that. I thought they were having a great conversation.
What's that?
There's something I don't like about the guy. He's too like he reminds me of like a snake. He's real.
Ask him back on the show there.
Monotone and like
I think it's really touches.
He doesn't seem like he has like human emotion. It's like,
dude, he's cool. He's cool as fuck. I've listened to hours and hours and hours.
I don't think he is cool. No,
I've listened to many hours of him talking on other people's shows and stuff, and he knows his shit. He's very well versed.
Jeremy says that he reminds him of a snake, and he's got no human emotions.
Yeah.
He's an investigative journalist. He's really good at his job.
Well, I think that's.
I don't know that he is. I don't know that he is. I don't trust him.
I think you're saying he's a reptilian shapeshifter.
I think the reason you don't like him is because he touches on a nerve with you.
Yeah, he has opinions you don't like, just like Zach.
Yeah, because you don't understand the what is that Alford Plea.
Yeah,
the Alford guilty plea. Bring it back up. Bring it back up the wiki, Jeremy, where it says the Alford guilty plea.
Jesus, I delved into that actually.
Did you hear on that show with Zach when Zach was interviewed on the show?
It's just like
Zach brings it up and said, "Can you tell my buddy Jeremy what's up with the Alford Plea?" And then that guy's like, "All your buddy has to do is just Google search it 3 seconds. He can see what it says."
That was awesome.
I mean, see what I mean? He's a little cunt. I mean,
well, Jeremy, I told you the same thing. You've brought it up on the show before, and just you glide right over the fact that it says it's a guilty plea at the very beginning of the week.
If it were an out and out guilty plea, then they wouldn't be able to go free.
Would they not? Because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
They didn't go for it. Was a plea bargain.
Plea because they don't go back to prison, do they?
It was a plea bargain.
Plea doesn't mean you go to jail. It's a plea bargain. The whole plea is that they get to go home, but the case is closed.
It's not an open case. Doing it, they say.
Jeremy, it's not an open case. The case is closed. The guilty party have been charged. They spent 20 years and got 10 years probation. That's the
fine, but I don't agree.
What do you mean you don't agree? The case is closed.
I don't agree.
You don't agree that the case is closed?
Jeremy does not agree.
You don't agree that the case is closed?
I mean,
the case is closed.
I mean, okay, so I think the way it was coming from, William kind of treated it like, well, it's a guilty plea, so that's a smoking gun. But what Jeremy is saying is that, yeah, it was a guilty plea, but they're saying that they only said that like to get off.
Sure.
They're not getting off.
But Jeremy doesn't acknowledge that they are guilty of murder.
No, I don't know that.
20 years.
Yeah, they spent 20
years in prison as
they're guilty in the eyes of the state.
Right, and the case is closed. No one's looking for the murderers of those 3 boys because by law, on paper, the guilty parties are the West Memphis 3.
Right,
and they're still on probation for it.
Right, they're just saying that the evidence was so overwhelming that they admit that there's no way they're going to get off, but they want to tell the world that they're innocent, right? They're saying, yeah, we get it looks bad, right? And we're going to go to jail, but we still maintain that we're innocent. That's all it is, right?
It's not a guilty plea. It's a kind of guilty plea. It's not
okay. I'll agree with you. It's a kind of guilty plea. Yeah.
It's not a kind of innocent plea. It's not a kind of not guilty. There's no kind of not guilty.
Well, they're not saying they did it. They're saying
They don't have to say they did it.
Yeah, they're not saying they didn't. No,
it's not exactly
saying that their evidence is going to convince the jury. We understand that, even though we maintain that we're not guilty.
But we're going to write our names on this piece of paper that say we're guilty.
Right.
We're going to serve time served plus 10 years probation for the murder of 3 boys. Here's my signature, and now as a consequence, because it's a plea bargain, the state will now let me go after I spent 20 years in jail.
I think
20
the only
years
thing
and 10 probation.
I think the only thing I don't understand is the fact that it's distinct from a guilty plea. I kind of assume that even if you did plead guilty, you were plenty free to like publicly tell people, no, I didn't actually do it. I just said that because
that part of it is that's a technicality. The reality is that it lets them out of jail. It lets them out of jail. They got to go home. That's the plea. The plea is, I'll say I'm guilty if you let me go home. And the state says
that's just how plea bargains in general work.
Right. It's a plea bargain. It's a guilty plea bargain is all it is.
So how do you disagree with that? I don't get it.
Because I've known people who are in the system in trouble with the law, and they have no choice but to plead no contest, even if they are innocent, because the system like rigs it so much against them, so much that they have no choice but to plead no contest. They don't have the funds to fight it and prove their innocence. That's the nature of the system. It's overwhelming. And
the system is flawed and it's bad, and innocent people go to jail for things they didn't do. This is exactly the opposite of that, where they had so many millions of dollars of Peter Jackson's money that they were able to influence the state enough to let them go home. The only reason they are out of jail is because Peter Jackson is a multi hundreds of $1 million millionaire. The only reason they went home. They went home because of millions of dollars, not because they weren't guilty.
Hang on, I'm reading.
I think that we should have Ramsey back on here and just talk about this only.
He does. He'll talk about it for hours. I've listened to hours and hours and hours.
No, he tapped out around like 2 hours. He doesn't have stamina.
No, and when last time Zach, asked him to come on when we were talking about Hollywood occultism, he just flat said no.
I'm telling you, the guy's disingenuous. He's very.
I don't think he's disingenuous.
No, I'm telling you, there's something sinister about him.
He's like
William Ramsey is a double agent who's talking about Hollywood occultism because he is a
controlled opposition. He's controlled opposition. William Ramsey controlled opposition.
He's a Satanist that hunts
Here's from an attorney.
Like he's like Dexter.
An Alford plea is a guilty plea, yes, of a defendant. Shut up. I'm sorry. Who proclaims he is innocent of the crime and admits that the prosecution has enough evidence to prove that he is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That does not mean admitting crime. Does not mean admitting guilt.
You don't have to.
It is.
Well, they do in that they sign their name to a guilty plea.
That's what I said.
They still maintain their innocence, though.
Like I was saying, it really doesn't matter what you say. Like to the state, you can.
This is from an attorney, not me.
But you're proving us right with that attorney.
No, I'm not.
I mean, that's exactly what I said earlier, though.
I don't really see where the disagreement is.
Yeah.
It is entered when an accused, together with his attorney, has made the calculated decision to plead guilty because the evidence against him is so strong that it will likely lead to conviction.
Yeah, that's it.
In a guilty plea of a lesser crime, some states see the Alford plea invoked frequently, such as Louisiana, Michigan. Well, I don't care.
They didn't plead to a lesser crime. They pled guilty to capital murder of 3 boys. That case is closed. No one's looking for the killers of the 3 boys. The state did a press conference directly after they were released where they were asked, are you going to open the case back up and look for the killers? And the state said, no, we're confident that we already prosecuted the killers of these boys, and they just walked free because of Peter Jackson's money.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate whether they're innocent or not, but yeah, I will agree that there's definitely fucked everything up. It always does. I mean, like, look what happened with Jeffrey Epstein with his first arrest.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean,
Peter Jackson held him out there too.
Probably.
Like all Hollywood elites are pedophiles, so probably, yeah.
The Alford plea is often controversial because it is neither a full admission of innocence nor guilt. It can serve to present one last-ditch option to avoid trial or a damning sentence for those who are indeed guilty, but can also be the one way out for those who maintain their innocence but have overwhelming evidence against them.
The point is, like, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that no one's looking for the killers.
I don't know where you come to the conclusion that that's all that matters, though.
That no one's looking for the killers of the kids, that the case isn't open. That's the end result of any discussion of this case is that no one's looking for the killers of those boys, and that the West Memphis 3 signed their names to guilty pleas.
Yeah, Jeremy, what about Bojangles? What about Bojangles?
They bought investigation from beginning to end anyway,
and that's definitely an issue, assuming that they actually didn't do it.
How did this get brought back up? Because
I don't remember. Oh, William, somebody said we should.
You did with your little shot at me on the show.
yeah.
Wait, no, that was on that show.
Now, by the way, all of this is not. This is just strictly on show. When we leave here, hopefully this doesn't carry over to our real lives, because I'm still having a good time, even if I seem a little jumpy. You know what I mean?
This is Jeremy's Alford Plea.
Okay.
You've taken too many pills.
So, but you still stand by the fact that William Ramsey is a reptilian shapeshifter controlled opposition snake. Is that correct?
I'm looking into it.
I'm sure he's out.
He lives in LA. That's all the evidence you need.
That is true.
Well, I talked to him about that on the show, and he seemed
that's
I don't live up there with those people. I live down there with these other people that aren't so bad, is what he said.
Yeah. Everybody in LA is bad. All of them.
Except Ann Sturz.
I mean,
going to come back.
That's true. She's okay, but she was kind of forced to move out there.
She's a reptilian too, though.
Man, I
don't think she'd deny that.
I mean, she's a good reptilian. There's like a couple of them.
I would love for Ann to come back. Seriously, she was great.
Yeah,
Zach,
I did invite her
shade
back.
At our boy.
Huh?
I said, Zach, they're throwing shade at our boy.
How so?
William Ramsey.
I'm talking about Ann.
I don't have an opinion either way. I kind of get the feeling the guy didn't like me, so but that's just whatever.
Exactly. I got that feeling too. He's very arrogant. He's very arrogant and sure.
I got that impression too.
Well, I'll say this for it. I'll say this for his arrogance. Pride comes before the fall. So
it's a lot of shade. Zach, what do you think about all this?
I think we need to get William back in here to give Jeremy a debate.
No, he won't do it. He won't do
it. Give Jeremy an ass whooping.
He won't come in here and do this in an uncomfortable light. He won't do it. He'll think
because the thing I said to him, he said he liked the challenge. He will definitely debate you. Trust me.
I mean,
I don't do structured debates. That's not real life. Structured debates are a fantasy land. I don't do that straw man shit. You're straw manning me, and you're conflating this. I don't do that.
Well, Jeremy's the king of the straw man. That's why he doesn't like it.
No, but agreements are chaos. They are not organized in any way to your benefit or disadvantage.
If I can't build you up in a completely unrealistic manner and tear you down, I don't want to talk at all.
No,
it's not a real discussion if at some point I don't threaten to come over there and slap you with the same hand I jack off with.
That's right.
Okay, Jeremy, answer this one question for me. Would you let him come back on to debate you if he would agree to do it? No, let's not even say it. Let's just say talk or argue.
Me?
Yes.
To argue, sure, but not debate, not a structured formal debate. That pussy shit, no.
I mean, no, we can't do a structured formal debate. Well, like what? You're gonna have me fucking?
No, I'm talking like
my drunk ass try to moderate it.
A kill stream, Jeremy versus William Ramsey.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe we can try to get Ethan Ralph on here and see how long we can take him before he says the N-word.
I would mark out if we got Ethan Ralph on here. I'm serious.
Maybe then we not do that. Maybe, we one alcoholic is enough.
I like the kill stream, dude. Ethan Ralph, I dig it. Yeah, he's made some bad decisions in his life. But I would mark out if he came on. He's cool. I like him. Yeah.
What does that mean? Mark out.
Okay, it's a wrestling term for say a wrestler when it's carried over from wrestling. People use it in regular language now if they're familiar with wrestling. Mark out is when you get really excited for someone doing something or winning in the ring or telling somebody off or maybe just returning from an injury. It's called marking out. It's when it's like the crowd goes, yeah,
the crowd is the wrestling fan is a mark. The mark is a condescending term. Is meant
it means sucker.
A con man, yeah, it means sucker.
Oh, it's like fanboying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's simping for the wrestlers.
Simping for the wrestlers, right?
What are you and William Ramsey going to fight about?
Everything.
I think you should make him disprove your allegation that he is a reptilian.
Let's just
reptilian.
You said that he's non-human and he's like a snake.
Yeah, let's make him get on the webcam and demonstrate that he can't pull his face off.
We got to make him blink.
Guys, I had an idea, and I don't know if you'll go for it or not, but I don't know. What if we all read short fiction on here sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I'll do it.
With the understanding that, we each own our own shit, and not to be redistributed or something. You know what I mean?
No, I'm going to read your stuff.
I don't care if people redistribute it.
I'm going to read open lines on here.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that, but I almost don't consider open lines.
I've hacked into your computer and I have all of your Jason Sinclair stories.
Oh, so dude, send those to me.
I'll just come out here and read all of those.
Why'd you have to bring up open lines and remind me of that non-ending? My book belongs in the bad ending club.
Why don't you just take it out of print if you don't like it that much?
Yeah.
I don't know how anymore. It's like I don't even have control.
Oh, that's a.
You can't log into that account?
No, I can, but I don't know how to. I get lost.
Google it.
You click bookshelf, bro.
Button. You say unpublished book.
Yeah, click bookshelf. Click unpublished book.
Do I go to the item on Amazon or whatever, or what?
No, go to kdp.amazon.com.
Yeah.
I type it in, and I'm not even in the results. I'm probably down at like 1,000 or something.
You shouldn't even be on Amazon. That's not where you're supposed to be. kdp.amazon.com.
Yeah, dude. What have you been drinking?
Yeah, live stream yourself unpublishing open lines here.
What does that mean, KDP? What is that?
You've been smoking formaldehyde?
Did you publish? Maybe he published that back when it was still CreateSpace. So
doesn't matter. It's everything was transferred over to Kindle.
Yeah, it's all on KDP.
Yeah, so maybe you just don't understand it because you haven't done the new layout that they have.
How do I take it out?
Just log into kdp.amazon.com with your Amazon login.
Yeah, share your screen and we'll walk you through it.
All these 5-star reviews from people who didn't mean it.
You're still on Amazon, dude.
That's all right.
He's just looking at it because
he's just staring at it on Amazon. I just don't know how to get rid of this.
Even if long enough for me to buy it because I want to read
all these five.
Read it now. Buy it now before he takes it down.
5-star reviews. They don't mean it. They didn't mean it. I appreciate it.
They didn't mean it.
Let's see which happens faster. I buy it or you take it down. I'm doing that right now. I'm doing it.
Where do I take it down at?
kdp.amazon.com.
I want to get it.
We've only told him 10 times now.
kdp.com?
kdp.amazon.com.
I think Jeremy's a reptilian.
Okay, what am I doing now?
Log in.
Log
your Amazon account.
Oh.
Yeah, with your Amazon account.
I've got it right here.
CreateSpace has moved to Kindle Direct Publishing.
Oh, good.
There's a big yellow login button on the right side.
I see the unpublished thing, but should I try to promote it one last time? I don't know.
Oh, here now he doesn't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. What else you got published out there? That's the only thing, isn't it?
Short stories in the Fireside Popsicle collection. That's
no, but I mean under your account, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the only short stories I'm actually proud of is The Street Artist in Fireside.
Yeah, but
you lose. I bought it
yourself, right?
Ben bought it.
You lose.
Ben bought open lines, bro.
Speaking of short fiction, Gregor, you read one of my short stories this week.
Yeah, I did. I read Popcorn Planet.
That's a good one.
What'd you think of that?
I thought it was pretty good. I don't really care about Orville Redenbacher.
I don't either. Could you tell?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the pop culture reference stuff isn't like my favorite thing in the world. But I did, and I like the popcorn monster. I like the convoluted, headache-inducing time travel type stuff.
That was that's pretty much it. That's like the star of the show is the ridiculous time travel bullshit that I.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wondered about the most with that story is that they said that they restarted the universe several times, and it kind of reminded me of this thing going on in my own head with the Arbiters and the Vanities.
Yeah. Hey, Gregor, when are you going to read Hospitalized Factory of Pain?
You mean Pain Factory goes to the hospital?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay.
I don't know. It's out of print, isn't it?
What did you say, Jeremy?
I said Strange has no idea what I'm talking about, but it's okay.
But it's out of print.
What's out of print?
I sent you a Moby, I think.
If you sent me, have you sent me a Moby?
I think I did.
I don't think you did.
Jeremy, what are you talking about with the restarting the universe?
If you send me a Moby, I'll read it.
They said in that story, Popcorn,
I'll look
they restarted the universe several times. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. I kind of carry my own outback in my own head, and it has to do with resetting the universe over and over. So
why?
Because it helps me.
Because
what does
everything
resetting the universe help you with? Is what I'm
because everything sucks and we need to hit the reset button.
It enriches my imagination.
But what if it plays out exactly the same way every time, no matter how many times you reset it?
That's okay. Some of it changes.
It's like a too many.
How do you decide what changes?
They try to change one thing, and then it makes these other things, go bad, and then they have to go back and say, well, let's change that, and then it makes
the butterfly effect. Those movies are really cool. Underappreciated Ashton Kutcher movies.
Right. It's like it was bigger than him, that idea. And the fact that his dad could do that stuff too, only with what was it, a camera or something?
Something.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. You were mad at me for asking Gregor a question because you were asking Kevin a question.
Oh, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
You're mad at him.
No.
Yeah, you're mad at me.
No, I want to put this behind us, to be honest, but
I want to ask Zach and Gregor, since both of you have read the Violent Bitch Hitomi story, would you be interested in more stories with that character?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I told you I did one time, didn't I?
Yeah, because I have like a idea for like a whole series of stories with them.
Yeah, I was thinking when I was reading it, this doesn't fit in this collection, but this would be better as its own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a bunch of ideas.
I think I see a pattern developing where it's like I'm unintentionally bullying Zach, and I feel bad about it.
Oh. Yeah, you should.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that Zach isn't too much of a pussy to bring it up, though. He just very confrontational. I think that's a very masculine quality, and it's lacking in a lot of contemporary men, especially young men your age. Going ahead and if you feel that there's some unspoken social thing going on, and you feel that you need to resolve it, just confronting it head on is the absolute best, quickest way to squash it and get it behind you.
But I'm
Zach, I've got Hospitalized Factory Pen. You did send it to me in a Moby format. I got it.
Oh, I actually just sent it to you again.
But I'm saying is that I don't know what your criteria is for a good story anymore, because it's like you scrutinize things in a really weird way, man. You do. I don't understand. I want to understand it, but I don't know, man. Sometimes it makes me feel like, why am I wasting my time because he's tearing this apart like this? I don't know. And maybe that's something in me, but
Oh, it's definitely something in you, Jeremy. You project your opinion onto other people. Like Zach can have any opinion he wants to on fiction, and it doesn't affect your enjoyment of the fiction. But
it does. No, it actually does. But
you act like it does.
It actually does.
That's something in you. That's insecurity in your own opinion. It has nothing to do with Zach.
I mean, we're on a book. We're in a show that talks about books, and it's like
and so Zach gets an opinion on those books. Any opinion that he wants.
Of course he does, but it feels like he wants to tear them down.
He gets to do that if he wants to. That's his prerogative.
Oh yeah, but I can go against it though. So
you're telling him he's reading books wrong.
It's not like he comes on here and says.
You told me that first last.
Well, now you're telling him that. How does it feel?
It's not like he comes on here and says.
How it feels because I did it to you.
It's not like he comes on here and says, "Jeremy, everything you like is shit like my pee-pee."
The only thing, I don't really tear anything apart, and I don't even dislike Chad Lutzke that much. I've only read one book.
But I'm saying,
with the exception of Legati,
on a completely objective level, I don't understand what is a good book to you. What does it have to have?
There is no objective measure of a good book.
Well, I'm asking Zach, what does he think?
I would just give Ben's answer because there's not really a checklist. The only thing I can say is it a good organic piece of art that actually kind of moves me in some way? That's my only criteria.
But you said emotional manipulation is bad.
Yeah, but
you said that cheap shots is bad, right? Like cheap tricks.
He's saying like bathos is bad, pathos is good.
I have no idea how to wrap this up. I don't know how to wrap it up. I forgot.
Bathos
Bathos is basically false pathos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean,
does anybody need to tap out? Because I'm sorry if I'm holding you here.
I'm literally in bed right now.
Okay.
I had this weird thing happen where I'd had a couple drinks earlier in the day that were like super strong and actually kind of like got me pretty buzzed, like, and it lasted for freaking hours. And I've been like almost in a freaking hangover since then. And it's lasted throughout this entire show until I had that one beer, and it's like it completely lifted away from my mind, and I feel perfect now.
Hair of the dog that bit you,
dog, bro.
Yeah,
hair of the dog, bro.
I always thought that was a thing that like was supposed to not work because like
it works.
Yeah,
I mean, alcoholics drink away hangovers all the time.
Yep, it's true. Jeremy does it.
It's your first step towards alcoholism, Zach.
Yeah.
What Jeremy does what?
Or you
Heroin?
No, you drink away your hangovers every day.
I mean, you could always make one of those like prairie oysters.
But I do like oysters.
A prairie oyster is like a raw egg, Worcestershire sauce, and Bloody Mary mix, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head.
That sounds
awful.
That sounds like it's a shock to the system.
Yeah, it's supposed to cure a hangover. I've never tried it, but I mean, that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Supposedly, Pedialyte cures hangovers.
Yeah, when I was in EMT school, they used to talk about doing saline IVs to cure hangovers. It was a really good method. Jump in your ambulance and run an IV on yourself and run an entire bag of saline through you, and your hangover would go away.
Yeah, that probably worked.
My cure for hangovers is I just sit and suffer because I deserve it.
That's about how I go as well. Yeah.
Be honest, that's the first time I've actually drunk in like a long time.
Drunk what?
Drunk anything in like a little while.
Oh, okay.
We should like try some sort of like little experiments on this show, like to fully take advantage of this platform. You know what I mean? Like
we can call the segment, but can you fuck it?
You ever read that book Medea, where Harlan Ellison and a bunch of other sci-fi authors get together and build and like world build?
Like Medea Halloween or Medea's Halloween?
I can't remember his fucking name, but is he like are they trying to like write different settings for that Medea character? Like where else can we put this fat black guy in drag?
That's what you're talking about, Jeremy?
No, here I'll tell you.
And now I'm trying to imagine what the fuck a Medea movie written by Harlan Ellison would look like.
Medea, Harlan's World. Let's see who all.
I've not heard of that.
There it is. I mean, what do you want? I mean,
it looks like a poem there or something.
I don't know.
It looked like a list of the table of contents.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Jack Williams, Larry Niven, Frederick Pohl, Hal Clement, Thomas M. Dish, Frank Herbert, Paul Anderson, Kate William, Theodore Sturgeon, Robert Silverberg, and Ellison himself all wrote stories about this imaginary world they built.
Go back to that dude's review. It's hilarious.
Why?
There was a really weird fact that I didn't know until like years later is Thomas Ditch. Not only is he's from Des Moines, Iowa, and he wrote The Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah. Yeah, have you read anything by him, Zach and Ben? Because you guys would like him. He's pretty highfalutin.
Nah, I've never read it.
I've read, I think it's called 443, which is less science fiction and more like, it has science fiction elements, but it's more about like the everyday lives of poor people.
Yeah.
I have read one Harlan Ellison story. It was in this vampire anthology, and I'm forgetting what the anthology was.
Hey, Harlan Ellison's pretty good. You should read some of his stuff. Thomas Dish, The Genocides is a really good book, and so is what is it called? Camp Concentration. Those two books are good.
I recommended I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream to you the other day. That's a wicked fucking story.
Yeah, that's good. Yes.
Yeah, that's a really great story. It's like it's just like you almost wonder if he was like on a meth binge or something when he wrote it because he's just so fucking dark and angry. But what's funny is like when I go to the library to try to check out, well, the library's not open right now, but whenever I try to go to like check out Thomas Stitch books, like they have like one that's available to check out, and they have the rest of them in like this archive area that you can't check out.
Oh yeah, because is that where his stuff is stored or something? His literary.
I don't know if his like papers and stuff are there, but it does have copies of all of his books, including like The Brave Little Toaster.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I like what I've read by him. He also wrote something like, is it the Mailman or something? It's like The Mailman. I can't remember what it's called though.
He apparently wrote like a medical thriller later in his life. I can't remember what that was called.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've not read that. I've read a few of his things, and I liked what I've read. Except for 334, I couldn't get through that one.
334, yeah. I did enjoy that. It did read more like a, I don't know, like a Selby kind of beatnik novel than it did a science fiction novel, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, The Genocides is really a good science fiction book. It's really crazy. It makes you feel horrible.
Yeah, because we were kind of talking about cyberpunk. Like before cyberpunk came about, there was that new wave movement. Thomas Ditch was part of that. Harlan Ellison, Norman Spinrad,
Robert Silverberg, probably.
Yeah, I think he was. Ursula K. Le Guin was a big part of that. Samuel Delaney. They were. I mean, one of the big differences between them and cyberpunk is they were a lot more, I guess, hippie-ish. They were a lot more experimental, I think.
Right.
And then that kind of it faded away for a little bit, but it eventually gave way to cyberpunk.
I mean, maybe, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how close they are, but yeah.
I think it was just kind of a case of like science fiction evolving from like pulp stories to more serious kind of stories. New Wave was kind of like the middle ground of that before it went into cyberpunk, which like really went in full force away from the whole utopia thing and from the like whole like there's still aspects of it, but it kind of moved it away from just being like just like pulp adventure stories to being, I guess, a little more socially I don't want to say conscious, but socially observant.
Yeah, I mean, Philip K. Dick wasn't really pulp adventure stories. I mean, he was writing in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, Philip K. Dick was kind of his own thing, even though he kind of fell into the new wave category.
Silverberg's not really like that either.
That was a pretty fascinating documentary about him. The Gospel According to Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, that's pretty good, yeah.
He was disappointed that the FBI wasn't really monitoring him, I think. I heard
he wasn't doing something right.
He thought he was more important to them, that they were checking him out. And it turns out they really weren't. Well, or maybe they wanted him to think that,
Probably wasn't pro-communist enough. I don't think he probably wasn't a communist. I don't know what he was.
He was definitely a left winger. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a communist, I don't think.
He was probably a left wingish, but he seems pretty esoteric in his beliefs.
Right. This is a really weird timeline we're in, where there used to be dog-headed men running around on some island. I mean, where did that even?
What do you mean used to be?
It was called the Island of Your Mom.
No, haven't you heard about? I told you about the dog-headed men earlier.
Yeah, but they're still around. There's no used to be about it.
Yeah, that's why Gregor Zane doesn't show his face, because he's one of them.
That could be it. You never know.
Do you have no pictures of yourself on social media at all?
That is correct.
Jesus.
It's probably a smart thing to do.
There's one of the dog-headed men with the blimmy.
There's Gregor right there. You have is your face on your chest?
Ben,
is my face on my chest?
Ben, remember earlier I brought up the blimmy?
Yes.
Yeah.
There they are, associating with the dog-headed men. You understand? It's significant.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, they're real, dude.
Yeah, both of them are real.
You need to search for dog-headed men photographs, and you'll find modern photographs of these dudes on the red carpet and stuff.
It's like the best time ever.
And you'd find like blemmies like that. They'd have their they'd have like no head and their shirts open, like Mexican guys with their faces exposed on their chest.
Yeah.
You're saying St. Christopher was one of them. Where did this come from? It's like this was just wedged into history out of nowhere, and like real people who are mature and physicians in Greece and shit are writing about this back then in BC times about dog-headed men. Could they have really existed? I don't understand this.
I think they still exist. I bet you could probably find a picture of one of them hanging out with Epstein.
Well, I showed you that book I got about allegedly you can raise them to do your bidding, which I'm not going to, but that's some weird shit.
That was what was on Epstein's island behind in that big shrine looking thing. It was a bunch of dog-headed men.
Most likely.
Where are all the dog-headed women?
Yeah, that's true.
The dog's heads have no time for holes.
There are no dog-headed women. They come after your women.
Made me spit it. Yeah, drink. You make me spit it.
Yeah, the dog-headed men are just all gay.
Everywhere, man. Everywhere.
That's actual footage of Gregor Zane working on the Hanover Block series.
Hell yeah. No,
yeah, that's one thing that's kind of gotten worse lately. Is Angry Video Game Nerd.
I thought it was
sold out, kind of, didn't he?
I mean, I thought his newer ones were okay. The one he did with the fuck, I'm blanking on his name. The guy who shouts a lot.
Oh God,
Jeremy Maddox.
No, Gilbert Gottfried. Yeah, the one he did with Gilbert. Yeah, that one was not good.
Can't believe you made me spit on my
That
drink.
guy annoyed me so much.
Yeah, it didn't. Gilbert Gottfried's just not good at like improvising.
Gilbert Gottfried would have been a perfect
fucking funny on podcasts. When he his latest one on Artie Lang's new podcast is so fucking funny. Artie Lang gets him doing racist jokes, and it is so fucking funny.
I do remember listening to him on Penn Jillette's radio show. It was ridiculous. It had them singing over and over. Floyd the Barber had a stroke. E-I-E-I-O.
Have you ever heard them bust his balls on Howard Stern for calling in not using that voice?
For what?
He called in not using the Gilbert Gottfried voice. It's Gilbert.
Oh, not doing this.
Yeah, he called in. He was like, "Hey, Gary, it's Gilbert," and I was just confirming.
Wait, that's not his real voice. That's not just how he sounds.
They played a little message he left for Gary to confirm his appearance. And he's like, "Hey, Gary, it's Gilbert," and I'm just saying they fucked with him for years. He would come on the show and they would just blast him with that to start with.
My mind is blown. I was convinced that's just how he sounded all the time. No, that's
his shtick. It's like Bobcat Goldthwait doesn't really sound like.
I hate Bobcat Goldthwait with a passion. Like, I cannot stand that dude. He's not funny. I don't get why people like him. It's just the most annoying act ever. Like, I can't think of a more annoying act, to be honest.
Oh, what, you got a problem with my act?
I don't know, maybe Chip Chipperson. He's pretty annoying.
Yeah, why is that? Why do people think that's funny?
I've not heard of that.
Jim Norton in general annoys me. Jim Norton annoys the fuck out of me.
Carrot Top annoys me. I saw him live in Vegas. It's freaking horrible.
Carrot Top?
He's barely a comedian.
Yeah, he got mad at me though because I tried to get alcohol from him when he was giving out. Like he would give the crowd shots of whiskey.
Why did he think you were underage, or were you actually underage?
I was underage, and he figured it out. He got mad at me.
You should have just taken it anyway.
Yeah,
it's like, it's just like how the fuck did Carrot Top get popular enough that he actually had his own movie? That's just beyond me.
He had a movie?
Yeah, chairman of the board. It is fucking garbage.
It's because it was a very booming economy. Success was a lot easier to achieve than it is today.
I mean, Mike Nelson from MST3K, he said it was one of the worst movies he'd ever seen. And that's really fucking tells you something.
Mike Nelson's cool. He does a podcast with Doug TenNapel and Ethan Nicole, the guy that does the Babylon Bee and Axe Cop, the cartoon and comic book. They do a podcast together called Audio Mullet.
I actually didn't know that, but I actually have I think I don't know if he's written more than one, but I actually have Mike Nelson's novel Death Rat.
Are you aware that he's a real hardcore conservative Christian?
I know that he's a Republican. I don't know if he's
a hardcore. Yeah, he's a hardcore conservative Christian. Him and Doug and Ethan do a Christian. That's the Audio Mullet is a Christian-based podcast.
Well, yeah, I know that doesn't have anything to do with that. He doesn't even associate with.
I know that
Christians.
And I know that Bill Corbett's on the opposite end. He's a regular guest on Chapo Trap House.
I thought you were going to say he's a regular guy.
I mean, they're all regular guys, to be honest with. I mean, that was the appeal of MST3K.
MST3K is shitbox.
You're wrong. I never listen to Gregor's opinion on anything. He is just objectively wrong about everything.
No, I don't like that shit.
Kind of a curmudgeon about.
Hey, Ben, I feel that way about Zach sometimes.
Gregor, you do seem to be kind of a curmudgeon about pop culture. You don't like anime. You don't like Mystery Science Theater. What do you like?
I'm with Gregor on all that.
Well, they are subjectively wrong, and we should never listen to you again. Jeremy is completely right.
I like books, but good books
are for nerds.
I've got to read everything or die trying.
I like some movies.
Guess how many I'm up to on my Kindle?
3,000.
You're over 3,000.
600,666.
Well, hang on, I'm about to tell you. 3,030.
Jeremy, I don't want to burst your Kindle parade here.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about this.
You're going to though. Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Well, I'm trying to be gentle about it.
Take my joy away. Yeah, I know.
Jeff Bezos is a degenerate lizard man.
Yeah,
Jeremy, you openly brag that you don't buy these books.
I do buy them.
But you say you don't buy them, that you just pirate them.
No, I said that about Cursed Films and Dark Side of the Ring.
But you do buy these books.
Most of them, yes.
I was going to say, if you're just going to book pirate sites and transferring the Mobi file from a website to your Kindle, I mean, are you really doing anything other than archiving all the free books on the internet?
Actually, yeah. Is that just your Kindle library, or is that including
to turn this into an ethical question?
It's not an ethical question. It's not a question of ethics. It's a question of, are you just transferring a free link on the internet out, into your Kindle? That doesn't seem to be like saying I have 3,000 books on my Kindle. It's like, well, there's 100 million free books on the internet, and all you're doing is dragging the link onto your Kindle. But if you're actually buying them, then that is a collection of legitimate fiction that you own.
Well, not necessarily. I haven't listened.
No, it's legitimate.
That stuff might not be out there, right? Like, if somebody's hosting a file on a server sometime today, it might not be there in 3 years. So it might be a value for him to actually copy it down.
Why do I have to justify everything that I do?
I didn't say you had to justify it. I was saying.
Oh God, I'm having seizures.
This has been like the single bitchiest Quiet Place episode I've ever had.
Gregor makes a good point that it doesn't necessarily the fiction that's free out there on the internet, whether it's free by choice or pirated. It's not necessarily going to be there tomorrow. That's true. And taking it off of the internet today, putting on your Kindle may ensure that you have something that isn't freely available a year from now. So that is a valid point.
All I care about is I got it. That's all I care.
But when you say you got it, I could easily say I have access to every book that's on the internet for free too. Just because I haven't put it on my Kindle doesn't mean I don't have access to it.
Send some to me then. I mean.
But if you're paying for the vast majority of it, then that's your library. You paid for it, so that is something.
I still firmly believe you can't have a library that's not physical.
It's my library either way. I don't know what this is really about.
But the internet is your library. Is my point. It's out there. It's already free. You can read any book you want to if you're not paying for them. If you're paying for them, then this is a purchased library. It's like a collection of anything. That is your collection.
There are some rare ones out there that I did have to download, off archive.org or something. But yeah, I'd say 85% of them are bought. Yeah.
Well, that is impressive. That is a collection of you have curated a collection of a library of fiction.
And I'm telling you, I'm going to read them all before I die.
I hope that you do. And it wasn't an attempt to throw shade, but my entire point was that if you were just running around the web downloading Moby links, it's like, well, that's what the web is. Like, we all have access to all of the free fiction in the world on the internet, but that's not a curated collection. You have a curated collection of 3,000.
I'm pretty proud of this. Yeah, man. I've got like at least for every subject, I've got at least one example of it in here. This is something special that, in the event that anything ever happened, I would probably leave it to somebody. So, I mean, if that's how impressive it is to me, I'm proud of it. So,
yeah, well, you should.
I don't pirate books, Jeremy.
Okay. Well,
an author even offered to send me a Moby copy of an anthology he was in, and I was like, you didn't publish the anthology yourself, so I don't want you to send it to me.
Well, like you said, if it's no longer available, it's out of print, or
that's what I asked him. I was like, is it out of print or something? He was like, no.
What was that fucking douchebag who used to hang out in Bizarro Fiction? His name was Jason something. He was a real shitbag and a shit starter. Jeremy, you know who I'm talking about.
Jason.
What the fuck was his last name?
What did he write anything?
He got all buddy with Don Noble and shit. Jason Wayne Allen. He used to hit me up in DMs and try to give me Deadite and Eraserhead Mobies that he somehow stole on the internet. I was like, no, dude, don't give me that fucking shit. I buy that shit. Like my collection of Deadite and Eraserhead is like purchased. Like I'm proud of that collection.
Yeah, I either get my stuff from the library, like digital library, or legitimate.
See, I've gotten a lot
library or buy it.
I've gotten a lot of historical from archive.org.
Like Gutenberg stuff. I get the Project Gutenberg. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
What were you gonna say, Ben?
I was gonna say last time I checked, Jason Wayne Allen was homeless.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, hopefully he gets help.
He's one of those douchebags that he always used to claim to be a writer, but he very rarely wrote anything.
That's true.
I mean,
he was up in everybody's fucking business in the writing community, but he didn't really write very much.
That's true.
I mean, I've read 2 of his books. I can't pronounce it.
He has 2 books?
Yeah, one was a full-length novel called It's in the Afterglow or something like that, which is like a tribute to Lovecraft and Robert Chambers. And I also had a chapbook from Dynatox Ministries called Rutgut County Blues, which is like a kind of I think it's autobiographical. I'm not sure.
So what are you saying about him? You were talking shit about him a minute ago there, Kevin. What are you saying about him?
Oh, he's just a douchebag. He was always in the middle of everybody's fucking drama in the writing community, and I remember him having that Dynatox book.
Well, you should come on the show then.
And I remember, didn't he have a big falling out with Jordan Krall after that? Jordan Krall published
He had a falling out with that artist dude, Dave something, that took him in and let him live with him.
There you go.
He even stabbed that guy in the back. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he had a big falling out with with Jordan Krall and with Philip Lopresti. They both do not like him anymore.
That guy's a textbook example of someone who is like permanently changed by the system, due to their own choices. And it's like they're recidivists. They can't help but go back to old habits that get them in trouble, So, I mean, it's better to keep your nose clean and just not get into trouble. That way, you can keep doing what you want with your life.
Right.
Yep.
So when is this new Jason Sinclair coming into my inbox?
I don't know what are you looking for? What are you looking for?
His dick is in his hand in anticipation.
I'm looking for Jason Sinclair. Whatever you write, that's Jason. Yeah, Jason Sinclair.
He needs it. It's the only way he can come.
I want to know how we fix this situation with Zach, because I know he's going to be in my inbox, later this week, saying, being apprehensive, and I hate that, but I do feel like my reading habits and my way of doing things has been under attack recently, though. I can't help that.
I'm going to be apprehensive. I'm kind of confused about that.
Apprehensive about what?
Well, like you were in my DMs, a little bit ago, saying just don't let it, ruin our friendship. And of course, I'm not going to. I promise that. But I just want to know how we fix this situation before it gets, worse or something. Because, I mean, we admit it's awkward, So what do we do here? I mean,
if you could maybe buy me.
You're really muffled right now. You're muffled, man. Can I?
Yeah, I can't understand. Yeah, I can't hear you at all now. Just talking back.
I'm serious. You were muffled. Are you like?
Yeah, you really were.
Are you close to the mic? I just want to hear what you're
trying to say. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, something's up with your mic.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Bummer.
What about now?
Kinda.
I think I know what it is. I need to.
Okay. Yeah, your voice is fading, but okay,
yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he
This
said.
is all Jeremy's doing. This is Jeremy's passive aggressive behavior.
I think he said if you buy him a
what passive aggressive
banana split.
Jeremy confronted Zach and then sabotaged his mic.
Yeah.
So he couldn't talk.
Okay,
Yeah.
What about now?
Yeah,
that's better.
That's better. Yeah.
Okay, I had to move.
How are we going to end this, boys? Are we going to keep going, try to outlast each other, or what? I don't know what we're doing anymore.
You said you were going to outlast all of us. Zach, go ahead. You respond to Jeremy's question there.
To be honest, I don't think like anything's wrong. Like there's no
really.
Nothing. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You can buy me 50 books though. I'll be good with that.
Yeah, you should
buy
him
him off. He wants you to bribe him with books.